Are you guys ready? Let's do this. Let's start the show.
Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the show. Lights, camera, action.
What is up, guys? How's your Thursday going?
It's wonderful.
Good?
Excellent.
You guys are good? That's good.
We're doing really good.
Doing all right. Big show tonight. We got a bunch of stuff going on. We witnessed mini history tonight. We have a lot of MLB news coming up. We'll recap a little bit of the NFL from the past week, do a little new segment coming up. But first off, let's start off. How was your guys' weekends?
It was
Pretty
good. We went to Dave & Buster's. Had a great time.
That was fun. So, yeah, as we discussed last week on the podcast, Brandon calls it D&B, apparently.
D&B.
We went that Jurassic Park ride.
Dude, that was so fun.
Or it was virtual reality, but it was amazing.
Yeah, it was a blast.
They have some
service
fun,
is shit there, but
they have some
fun
stuff there. I usually will maybe have like a drink or two when I'm there, but for the most part I'm just there for the games, and I enjoy the basketball one's pretty fun, and they also have like the
we learned that
Mario Kart 2 is pretty fun.
We learned Shaylee kicks ass at Guitar Hero. I don't know where the hell that came
I didn't
from.
see that coming at all.
Yeah, dude, she owned that.
She just
she crushed it. She was like 99% accurate on it. I was like,
it was amazing. It was crazy.
She's the dark horse.
Dude, it was crazy.
Yeah. Brandon, you went to the SDSU game.
Yeah, against Arizona State. That was a really good game. And actually, we were so confident that they were going to win that we actually left 4 minutes before the game was out because we were with the girlfriends and they were a little tired. And you know how that is. You want to dodge traffic. And you're like, you're up by 14 points with 4 minutes left in the game. You think your team's got a shoe in to win this ball game.
Only the Chargers can blow
but
one like that.
They almost blew it. There was some rough calls in there. I think we're going to look back at that game. There was a turning point right before the half was over. Herm Edwards goes for it on fourth and short. I want to say it was 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. They're up by 7. It was 14-7, and they're already in field goal range. And San Diego State made some clutch kicks. They hit a 54-yarder with when the game was that was to put them up 3 points.
Wow.
So that was a ballsy move. Rocky Long, shown confidence in his kicker, and they came out on top, took out a ranked top 25 team, and so. Yeah, always exciting. We try to go to one every year, and so, had a good time.
Yeah, it sounds fun. I mean, state games are always fun to go to as well. I mean, we used to go all the time with Leah when she would cheer.
Yeah, man, I feel like we'd go to like a plethora of games every year. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's a good environment. But I had a decent week. I've been going to the LA Fitness lately before work, just get a nice little workout in, and throughout the week, like I'll call Ryan afterwards because I have these gym stories, and
I work in a gym and I hear it and see it all the time.
So this is just like a general public service announcement. All of the older men that listen to this podcast, when you are in the gym and you have your towel around your shoulder, walking around butt naked, put it on. Put it around your waist. I'm tired of walking around just seeing old guys walk around, no shame.
Dude, It's bad. I've been noticing it at work for the longest time, and there's no shame. And you want to walk around naked, by all means. My only thing is like, what's the towel around your neck for?
Yeah.
Why do you even
use the towel?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen so many. I mean, me and Dean could go on for a rant for this entire podcast for the amount of conversations we've had over the last couple of weeks. People with their blow dryers, people with
That's the one thing I wanted to bring up is today was the last straw.
I will say this, though. At least they took a shower. I don't know what's worse, that or when somebody walks by you at the gym and you catch like a crazy whiff of their BO and it's all over the equipment.
Yeah, that's no fun either.
Yeah, what would you rather put up with, though?
The BO.
I'd rather put up with the BO.
I'd rather put up with
the
BO.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, I don't spend a lot of time in the locker room, so I guess, like...
I mean, I have to. Like, I go back and forth from, my workout to working, so, I have to be in and out.
Gotta hit a shower, gotta clean up real quick.
Dean, I know it's you got to shower before work. And
I don't want to go to work smelly. I don't want to be this... It's better to have BO in the gym than at work. That'd be even worse.
It's true, if you're going before work, but if you're going after work, I don't ever even touch...
Yeah, but today there's a guy standing there full on like leg up and everything with the blow dryer. I got to use that blow dryer. I'm not using it anymore.
I wouldn't use the blow
So
dryer
he's
either.
using the blow dryer to dry his junk.
Yeah.
Everything.
And he
Leg
goes
up, dude.
not only in the front, but he goes
Back.
around to the backside too. And it's like,
So
Like, did your mother not teach you how to use a towel?
not only that, but do you do that at home?
God.
Like, is it?
I actually did bring this up to a client today, and they were saying, "Oh, well, maybe they just need to dry off more at the gym than they do at home." And I'm
Why?
like, that's what I said. Maybe you need new underwear.
Yeah, I don't know. But public service announcement: you shower at the gym.
Don't be
One,
gross.
you close the curtain
yes.
when you take a shower, and two, you put
Definitely.
your towel on.
Dude, you know how weird people look when they're showering? Think about the movements that you're making in the shower. Now imagine somebody watching you. That's disgusting.
Yeah, and it makes
Close the
me
frickin'
uncomfortable.
blinds.
Makes me uncomfortable trying to
Close
shower
the
there
curtains.
because now I got to shower like looking down, and it makes me feel more uncomfortable.
Dude, I've seen people...
And they're more than likely the overweight people, too, at
Yes.
the gym.
My whole thing is like, if you're going to have a towel, if it's in your hand, wrap it around your body. You don't need
Agreed.
to do... And the nastiest one I've seen to this day is the guy standing up next to the sink, junk on the counter.
That's
Like, what are you... Why is that necessary?
just shut the whole gym down at that point.
Dude, it's so gross.
And for the people that don't necessarily do these things, just be careful what you touch when you're in the restroom.
Yep. Wash your
You just
hands.
never know. Wash your
Hand
hands and you're
sanitize.
done.
Well, that was the worst part too, because after I put my clothes on, sit down to put my socks on, but now I see these butt ass naked people walking, like guys walking around, sitting down on these things. I'm like, someone's bare ass was rubbing on this. Now I got to stand up and try to put my socks on. I'm not sitting down anywhere.
No, dude, it's bad.
It was horrible.
Could you imagine being the janitors cleaning that up, though?
No.
That's a bad job.
Shout out to the janitors.
Shout out to the janitors.
Mad
They deserve some
respect
love.
to the janitors out there. I'm done with my little rant. We'll get into it. NFL saw another tie this week with the Packers tying who'd they tie?
The Vikings. That's a good matchup, but God, these
NFL
ties got to end.
Yeah, dude. I hate
NFL's got to
ties.
do something about the ties.
I think just sudden death.
I
The
think
first one to
that,
score.
I honestly think that when they changed the rule to a field goal doesn't win the game, that's when we started seeing a lot more of these ties. And I mean, obviously, you hate it when your team goes out there and doesn't perform and they lose the game by a field goal. It makes sense, but ultimately, we're seeing way too many ties. And I honestly think this one just boils down to kicking. I mean, you saw it in back-to-back weeks with the Steelers and then the Browns, and then you saw it this week with the Vikings and the Packers.
And the Browns, too.
I mean, all of them, all four teams missed field goals. So, and some of those were to win.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they should just come out with a punt pass kick at the end or something like that. If they want to limit the amount of injuries and all this kind of stuff, just do something simple like that. Make it competitive.
hard
Do
too
a
because,
skills competition or
I mean,
something. And
Shout out to the Packers defense for shutting them down. That's awesome. But it's hard when you get two teams in there that are dominant defensive teams like the Vikings are. Obviously, they have a good offense now.
Packers got good defense, too.
I mean, the Packers aren't known as well, but their defense has shown up the last couple of weeks. So, that's what I mean. Huge shout out to them. The Steelers don't have a great defense. That was, again, mostly just kicking loose. But when you get into those situations where it's two defensive teams, you can't expect either of them to go down and score points.
yeah, and then another thing in week 2 was Pat Mahomes and Ryan Fitzpatrick showing up again. I thought week 1 was going to be a fluke, but Pat Mahomes is the quickest quarterback to 10 touchdowns in a rookie season.
In NFL's history.
4 touchdowns first week, 6 touchdowns the second week.
More than
Kid's got a
Peyton
cannon.
Manning.
Dude, he's got an amazing
incredible.
arm. He has an amazing arm. I don't know if he'll be able to sustain this kind of success.
It's almost impossible to.
Well, and again, I mean, back to week 1 against the Chargers. The Chargers put them in the red zone with opportunities many times, and the Steelers' defense is awful. I don't know what's going on in Pittsburgh. They've always been known for their defense. We knew it was going to be shaky this year, and they couldn't do anything. I mean, he had 6 touchdown passes, I believe, to 5 different receivers, So they couldn't shut down anyone.
No, and that offense is just clicking.
And the Chiefs are going to have some pretty hard matchups coming up here. I know they play the Jaguars, Rams, and the Patriots.
Good defenses,
The
good corners.
The Raiders' defense hasn't been awful. They've obviously not had a pass rush since Khalil Mack left. And then Denver, man, you can't sleep on their defense either.
That's true. Yeah,
So,
Von Miller's a beast.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this. He leads the league in sacks. Usually you hear a bunch of talks about him, being so dominant, and it's been silent all year.
Yeah, he's. Obviously, was a luxury being able to play against. The
You can
Seahawks
pencil
week
him
one.
in for 10 sacks every year, minimum.
Yeah. And you can't just run away from a guy like that. So he's gonna have a lot of work to do this year, and the Chiefs have to figure out some stuff on defense because he shouldn't have as many opportunities to throw for as many touchdowns. It seems like every time he gets off the field, they're out there again. So shout out to him though. 6 touchdowns. Anytime you can do that. Again, it's not his rookie year, but practically his rookie year. He had 1 start last year. He's exactly what they wanted. They wanted somebody that had big playability, had the ability to stretch the field. That's something they did not have with Alex Smith. You're not seeing mistakes that you normally see from young quarterbacks. He's keeping the ball in his team's hands for the most part. It's been exciting to watch if you're a Chiefs fan. They just got to figure out that defense. It's been bad.
Yeah, and then the other guy that was shown out was Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think he threw for 5 touchdowns
against the Eagles,
I think
too.
I think it was 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, still,
regardless,
he's still
he's lighting it up,
he's
man.
impressing.
He definitely earned that start, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I don't think that he's going to step off the field until you start to see his play digress. And the thing about him, he's 35 years old. He's been doing this for a long time in a lot of different systems. And Brandon and I mentioned last week how he's definitely the best backup quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, a backup quarterback's not an easy job, but to be able to go out there and lead the league in passing over 2 weeks, he's not playing chump teams.
He's got a little swagger right now. Did you see those pictures of him after the presser?
Taking Deshaun Jackson's swag,
yeah.
He's got that beard rocking.
He kind of looked like Conor McGregor a little bit there.
Little,
I know you've seen the comparisons there. Liking the swag, I think he's going to have to keep it up if he wants to keep the starting gig.
And they got weapons.
The second he does bad, I could see them throwing Jameis Winston in. But
but like you said, he's got weapons. He knows how to. He's got good vision. He's experienced.
He's smart.
He almost took the Jets to the playoffs. I want to say that was 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember.
Dude, he's not a bad quarterback. I mean, you just see he has huge ups and then terrible downs.
Yeah.
And I will say he's one of the smartest quarterbacks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He has the ability to read the field. He has patience, which is something that's hard to teach. Yeah. And, gosh, he's still got a cannon.
Yeah. But, the new worst team in the league, the Bills, God,
that team's awful.
Josh Allen looked awful.
Yeah. So I'm a part of that Pick'em League, and honestly, I'm just riding that Bills wave. I'm picking every team that's playing the Bills right now. I know eventually at home they might get a win.
Their defense is not that. They're not bad at all. They play solid defense. They shut down the Chargers in the second half. They have an amazing pass rush. They're not a bad team. I don't know if it's just the organization from within. I don't know if they just still have so many holes in their offense, but the Chargers lit them up in the first half.
I think their O-line's just that bad.
I think O-line's that bad. Plus, you have a young rookie quarterback that needs time. The game flow just speeds up exponentially.
Got an aging running back.
I was impressed with Josh Allen in the first half of that game. I saw a lot of ability to escape pressure and extend plays, and then you just saw all of it unfold in the second half.
But you can only do it so long. You can only keep running away from everything for so long until 1, you're frustrated, 2, you're tired, and 3, you know this isn't your job to be mobile. You need to get the ball out of your hands. You make bad decisions.
It's like you just can't unload that ball quite as clean when you're a little more gassed.
Yeah.
And the Chargers threw everything at him. I mean, Derwin James, shout out to him. He's looked amazing. He had another sack this week. They're utilizing him like a utility player in baseball. I mean, he's all over the field.
He was D-line, corner, outside linebacker, safety. He was all over the field. That guy's super talented.
And, his presence is definitely felt. And then the other guy from the Chargers I wanted to give a shout-out to was Kaiser White. He was a guy that played safety in college, and they moved him to outside linebacker, and he has filled that amazing. He had another sack on the quarterback, also had an interception in the game, and him and Derwin James were just after him. So, I don't think that the Bills are going to finish like the Browns have in the past where they're an 0-16 team. I think they'll be able to figure it out. towards the end of the year.
Yeah, I agree.
But no, I mean they don't look like they're an organization that obviously that nobody wants to play for, because you saw Vonte Davis walk off the field and retire.
That's
at
what I was
halftime.
going to bring up too.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never heard of that before ever
here.
in any sort of
It's weak,
any
man.
level.
It's weak.
Uh,
I was shocked.
I was
honestly.
shocked. I mean, just to walk away from your
the,
team.
The headline.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you, when I saw these people being like, Vonte Davis retires at halftime, haha, like all joking around. I'm like, oh, that's funny, like somebody retired. Afterwards, he actually did.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell
did.
anybody. None of his teammates knew. He just left.
Yeah, he told
He
the
used to
coach.
be a
I think.
beast for the Colts.
Yeah, dude, he's
Yeah.
a solid player. I mean, he's 30 years old now, and he obviously just felt like he didn't have it anymore. I was listening to Shannon Sharp the other day, and he was saying, he's been around the NFL for such a long time that he had his own realization. He's heard other players' realization when they're just done. And he's like, you get into the locker room after the game, you get in the shower, you go through the motions of what your after game rituals are, and you just realize, I can't do this anymore. And he's like, I can't imagine what's going on in a player's head at halftime to say, I'm done. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's weak. I mean, you could have just said, hey, coach, I'm not feeling it today.
Don't play me anymore.
Just sit me out the rest of this game. Like, I don't have it today.
Yeah.
And retire after the game. I mean, it's not like you've heard of players retiring during a season, but never
during
halftime
a
of
game.
the game. No, it was weak.
Well, they've just been getting blown out. It takes, shout out to these Browns fans. I mean, it takes a lot to be able to endure that kind of, butt
Yeah,
whooping.
and before we move on from that game, I will just say that the Chargers defense did look absolutely amazing. And when they get Bosa back, if they get Corey Liuget back, and then, obviously Verrett's done for the season, but if he was on the field, that defense would be almost unstoppable.
Verrett, I've never been crazy high on. I think Trevor Williams has stepped into that role and proven to be better.
Yeah.
And then Desmond King, he had a couple of mistakes this past week, but he's also shown to be a very talented nickelback. That defense is what's going to be their make or break. I mean, you see Rivers out there being one of the most productive quarterbacks in the NFL still as he's aging. There's obviously, interception questions, and, we've talked about his play call at the, on the line of scrimmage, audibling out of plays maybe he shouldn't. But their defense, I mean, they got to stay hot. Melvin Ingram looked great this past week. I mean, like I said, Derwin James he's the missing piece that they needed.
Yeah.
They got some tough games. They got the Rams this week, but, if their defense can stay hot, they can stay competitive.
Joey
Yeah.
Bosa is the key, I think, for
Yeah.
that team. I
And-
mean, you got to have good pass rush. Who's going to set
And
up
he
those...
brings that presence.
Well,
Yeah.
and I noticed it this week. I mean, Rochelle's done a good job of filling in as Bosa's been out. But you can see he puts himself in situations that Bosa doesn't. Bosa doesn't, over pursue to the quarterback to get sacks.
Yeah.
He stays his position. He stays his game. He's one of the smartest defensive ends that plays the game.
Well, he keeps that inside hand out with outside leverage, so he knows that no one's going to get that edge on him.
Exactly. He's smart enough to know where he's supposed to be at all times, and that's why he's so good. And also, he has the physical ability to dominate offensive linemen. I really hope that the Chargers don't rush him back, because if the Chargers are as good as everybody claims they are, then they're going to need him at the end of the year, and we know how these deep bone bruises and sprains can be. I know it's a big week against the Rams. I'm hoping that he'll be back around week 5, week 6, but I would not be rushing him back right now.
Yeah, there's no reason to. I mean, they still look good out there. But Brandon, like you said with the Browns, respect that Browns fans. They suffered another hard loss last week, and they lost Josh Gordon. I thought that was just a complete Browns move.
Yeah.
You announce that you're going to cut a guy that you've put all your eggs into that basket. You've kept him through thick and thin, and you just announce, hey, we're going to cut him.
Yeah, they killed all their leverage. I don't understand these teams, why you would allow that to get out to the public, and that just totally kills your leverage in a trade.
Yeah, because you don't think you need to give anything up for him.
You're like, oh, well, you're going to cut him anyway, so I just have to outbid some of these other people.
And
that
the
are
funniest part about that
reciprocated.
trade too is the fact that they have the clause on it. It's a conditional 5th round pick if he plays 10 games. If he doesn't play 10 games, it's a 7th round pick. So it's almost nothing.
That's all it's basically nothing for somebody that was your number one wide receiver.
And it's the Patriots, too.
and so they're going to utilize him better than the Browns.
Yeah,
and they're going to have to play him.
And to me, honestly, I think, he's I think he's one of the biggest, fuck ups in the league, Josh Gordon. But talent wise, he's got Hall of Fame talent.
Yeah.
If you get him a good quarterback, not a
Well,
great
he's played
quarterback,
with crap quarterbacks and had good numbers.
and he had that year where he led the league in receiving yards, and he missed like the first several weeks of the season, I think. So that's just insane that somebody with that much talent has.
And he was all fucked up. He was all drunk and high
all
and stuff like that. So
drugged
it's
up,
like
too.
Again, I take that back to the organization, though, because organizations are supposed to find out what their players' problems are and be able to help them through it. You saw with Des Bryant when he went bankrupt his first
they
couple of
basically
weeks.
assigned a babysitter.
Yeah, they gave him a babysitter, and that's something the Browns should have done from day one.
And that's something the Patriots will do, though.
Exactly. And that's the thing, though. It depends on how he shows up there. If he's going to invest in their team, they're going to invest in him. But that's a big jump. I mean, you've seen in the press this week, which is something I kind of wanted to get into a little bit. The issues that Brady and Belichick have together. So I can't imagine that Gordon's going to step in there and just be this new human being, show up to work, and give 1,000%, because that's what Bill Belichick expects.
Yeah, I mean, people don't change. They might display that they change overnight.
I think if
but
you
people don't
hold
change
somebody
in the long
accountable,
run.
No,
exactly.
good.
But if you
I
can
feel
put
like
him in that, and you can isolate the amount of times that he needs to show up.
Yeah.
I think that you can get a lot more out of him than expecting.
No, and I think
him
that
to,
he would have benefited from this a long time ago.
Definitely.
I think that if they would have caught on to this a long time ago, even a team like the Cowboys, who does a good job of investing in their players, it obviously doesn't show up as well on the field like it does with the Patriots, as of the past decade or two. But, you invest the time into a player because you're wanting to see what they're going to show you, and the Browns never did that with Josh Gordon. They gave him opportunities. I'll give them credit for that. They definitely gave him that, but they didn't give him any help.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, clearly it didn't matter because the Browns get their first win in 654 days.
35.
I keep messing that number up.
It's all right.
635.
Dean's a little dyslexic. It's okay.
Well, because 365 days is the amount of days in a year, and it's too close, so I keep forgetting. But still, I mean, they didn't need him out there. My boy Jarvis Landry held it down.
He did.
I mean, through that
close to about. He had about 100 yards receiving. Pretty close to it.
I think he got me at least 12 points in fantasy, so that's pretty good. But shout out to the Dog Pound over there getting their first win in a full season and whatever.
I just want to reiterate. I was saying at the beginning of the year that I wasn't as excited to watch Baker Mayfield. I still hold this to date that if they could have had Saquon Barkley, Baker Mayfield, and Denzel Ward.
Yeah.
I still think that that's a huge mistake, but he electrified that stadium. I was listening to it on the radio on the way over here, and I was watching it at work for a little bit. And as soon as he got in there, you could hear the
offense
echoes.
Started clicking.
No,
the crowd was in.
Even
the crowd engagement was just insane. You could barely hear the
even
announcers.
on the scoreboard though. They were down 14-0. You put him in. They tie it up and
you put him in, and it's almost like that 14-0 is reachable.
Yeah,
it's like when Aaron Rodgers came back out of that locker room.
Yep.
And it was like, oh man, he's got this now.
And it was the same feeling. I mean, when Aaron Rodgers came out of the locker room, everybody was electrified. And as soon as he stepped out on that field, the fans were there. The team was into it, and he looked good. He did not look like a rookie quarterback. He was poised. He was good under pressure, and he was confident.
That seam route multiple times.
And that's one thing that I've always loved about Baker Mayfield. And I know I wasn't as hot on him this year as I have in some of the other prototypical quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But that's the one thing is he's a gamer, man. I mean, he was a walk-on at Texas A&M. He transferred to Oklahoma. He was never supposed to win a Heisman. He's done all these things, and he has so much passion for what he does. And that kind of passion is what creates good teams. If you have a player out there that's just going through the motions, the players surrounding you feed off that energy. And he was so, like I said, it electrified everyone around him.
Leadership, that's a leadership position too, quarterback. So there's definitely
you got to rally the troops. You got to get your O-line into the game to block for you. You got to get your wide receivers to keep committing to their routes. You got to make sure that you're every play telling every single one of them, hey, I'm going to get you the ball on this route. I'm going to get you the ball on this play.
It reminded me a lot.
Even if you don't, but I mean, even still, it's like you got to ensure and you got to keep them motivated.
It reminded me a lot of Doug Flutie with the Chargers whenever they would bring him in.
Yeah.
And you just saw how everybody was like, yes, this guy's exciting. I'm ready to watch
this guy was on a
guy.
Wheaties box. Let's go.
Yeah,
I remember that.
So I mean, it was
times.
It was just fun to to see the Browns have a player, be able to bring so much extra to the game.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be exciting too, and I would love to see the Browns continue this, ride this high a little bit and maybe take it for a couple weeks.
We could realistically have been looking at a 3-0 team if they had a decent kicker to start the year.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they should be a 3-0 team in my opinion.
And against good teams. Well, I mean, the Jets.
But the Jets have shown that their defense is strong.
They're a solid team.
They have a rookie quarterback, so they're not going to be as.
They could have knocked off the Saints and the Steelers to start the year. That would have been pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mean they had every opportunity to knock off both those teams, and that's good because I mean we've looked at a Browns team that hasn't it's not like they haven't been in any games, but you get down by 14, game's over. Where they bring Baker Mayfield in and he just lights up everyone.
Yeah, it's exciting and. They let's see who do they play next week to keep this streak going. They play the Raiders. The Raiders 0-2.
Definitely have a shot there.
They have a shot to keep riding this high. Ryan, you mentioned it a little bit earlier about what the hell's going on in Pittsburgh. I mean, Antonio Brown doesn't show up for practice this week. He tweets out to a past employee of the organization, trade me then, let's see what happens. And then Tomlin says, "Oh, we're going to discipline him," but doesn't give any sort of explanation to what the discipline's going to be.
Well, that's definitely Tomlin. I mean, that's just how he is. He doesn't like to give people a lot of, words, really.
Keep everything internal,
but
and I respect that.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah,
but still,
that's why Bill Belichick's so good.
Yeah,
I personally think. That's
absolutely.
One of the reasons.
No, but
it's the mind
Pittsburgh.
games.
I mean, they are not looking good at all. And I mean, you're standing there looking at, they have the same exact record. No, they're 0-1-1. So the Browns are up on them right now, obviously because they played Thursday.
Yeah,
the Bengals are 2-0. Ravens are 1-1. They're in a tough division, and to start off as slow as they have been, and to have so many off the field issues. I mean, you have your offensive linemen that clearly don't have your running backs back. You have your best player that's not even showing up, not signing his franchise tag. You have Antonio Brown out there, and he's had a knack for this for a while, but just saying too much to the press. Yeah. I mean, it's just not looking good. And on top of that, their defense might be the worst in the NFL. I mean, they just gave up 6 touchdown passes to the Chiefs, and I'm not saying the Chiefs are a bad team. Obviously, like we said, Patrick Mahomes is lighting it up. But
he lit up the Chargers too, and they have pretty good defense.
Yeah,
so.
But I mean, in this situation, though, I mean, they just gunned them the whole time. I mean, the Steelers weren't making a lot of mistakes. They didn't show up.
They just don't look like the Steelers of old. But at some point with a veteran team like that, they're going to click and they're going to get it going. I think they're throwing a little bit off because I think they thought, like I think most of us thought, Le'Veon Bell was going to be there week 1, and he hasn't. And it's just, I know Connor has done a pretty good job as their running back, but
I mean, he had terrible rushing stats last week, but they did give up on the run.
But they were gunning for the run, though.
I mean, but he had 16 carries in the first half, and he did nothing with it.
Yeah, but they're still passing the ball. Sometimes you just use the run to just set up the pass, but
I mean, he's still got his yards and everything that.
And like we said, that offense is built to give their running backs yardage. That's what I mean. They spread the field with Antonio Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, which used to be Martavis Bryant.
But if a team's got a game plan, we're going to shut down the run, that's what they did. But they also left the secondary open to.
Yeah, and it just shows how that whole...
Big Ben still threw down several... I think he threw over 400 yards last
year.
Yeah,
man. I mean, and that's what happens when you get into a shootout. But their next 4 games, they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They have...
Winnable game, but
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been lighting everybody up right now.
They have been looking. They don't look like Tampa Bay like we know.
No, but I mean that's why Ryan Fitzpatrick has been putting it down. If you have a guy like Mahomes that just threw 6 touchdowns against your shitty defense, there's another guy that can do it again.
Yeah. Well, okay. So they have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they have the Baltimore Ravens, Atlanta Falcons, and then the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, that's a hard 4 stretch of games where you basically have to win all 4.
In reality, that's like a 3-4 schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
putting Baltimore on there is maybe the only team that they can beat. If Cincy starts to fall off, you can go 2-4. But
if there's a team that's earned that respect outside of the Patriots, the Steelers have, though. They're a perennial playoff team. They go deep into playoffs. They have shown resilience in their ability to rally and they're still my pick to win that division, personally.
Yeah, but it just goes to show this whole losing culture that we've been talking about, how you get Le'Veon Bell doesn't show up. You get your offensive line that starts turning on him. The organization starts to separate from each other because you have people like Antonio Brown that, they're friends and he's sticking with them. The offense is internally starting to fight maybe a little bit. Antonio Brown's a diva. He's not getting the ball like he wants. He wants. Juju Smith-Schuster's a great wide receiver. So you start seeing the organization fall apart from within.
The Steelers have statistically the second hardest schedule left throughout the end of the year. So getting off to an 0-1-1 start, it's not the worst thing that can happen, but it also has shown in history, if you don't have a win by week 3, the chances of making the playoffs are cut in half. Yeah. So, they have a lot of work to do, and, maybe this week against Tampa Bay comes back to, their normal play, and the Steelers can get on the board with a win. But again, at that point, they're still tied with the Browns, so they're not sitting
pretty. Cause
for
concern if they lose this week, definitely, if you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah, and then also later news this week, Carson Wentz got activated. I think the Eagles should definitely start him. Nick Foles does not look good, so I think Carson Wentz needs to get in there, maybe revive that offense a little bit.
Playing the Colts this week too.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The Eagles, they have a lot. Ajayi's out with a back injury. Sproles is still out. It looks like Clement's going to get the start this week at running back. You still have Alshon Jeffrey out. They have a lot of missing pieces on their offense. I'm not as concerned with that team.
They still won week 1 against the Falcons, which are a good team. But they looked bad last week.
They did look bad last week. So, for me, I'm not necessarily rushing Carson Wentz out there until maybe they get some of these weapons back. But if he's healthy, he's healthy. You got to play your best player.
Yeah. I know, Ryan, you came up with this idea to do a new segment, so I say we get into this. It's our new segment, reality versus fantasy. I'm going to ask you guys, an opinionated question on what you think is going to happen. Let's just see what you guys think, and we'll go from there. The first one is, we're talking about the Steelers. The Steelers will not make the playoffs this year. Brandon, do you think that is a reality, or you think they're gonna make it?
I think that's fantasy. I also had just said in our last segment, but I think you're the proven team like the Steelers who have that track record of success, who constantly are finding ways to make the playoffs, even in some of the years where they haven't gotten off to good starts, they found a way to make the playoffs, and I see that happening again this year. I know Le'Veon Bell hasn't even been to practice yet, but I could see him, playing at some point this year.
Ryan, you agree with that, or?
I do not. I do think that it's reality now that the Steelers won't make the playoffs, and my biggest reason is because of the division that they're in. The Patriots have made the playoffs in their division because they play teams like the Bills and the Dolphins all year, and the Jets. So, being in that competitive division where it's always pretty tight towards the end of the year, and now throwing that tie in there, that's just going to throw everything off. Browns, obviously, I don't consider them a playoff contending team, but the Ravens and the Bengals have, same star-studded lineups, obviously not with the Antonio Browns and the Le'Veon Bells, but their defense is so bad. Unless they can figure out what to do on the defensive side of the ball, then no, this team's not making the playoffs, because you can score 40 points a game, but you can't give up 45, and they've looked that bad.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Ryan on this one. I don't think the Steelers are going to be the ones to make the playoffs this year. I don't think they're going to win that division for the reasons, Ryan, that you listed. Next is going to be the Patrick Mahomes. We were talking about him earlier, gunslinger. He's going to throw 55 touchdowns this year. Ryan, you think that's a reasonable number that he could do, exceed, not?
Obviously he's on pace. I think it's some fantasy.
It's easy to stay on pace this early.
So
in the
55
season.
touchdowns for some of our listeners that aren't up on NFL records. More than 55 touchdowns would break Peyton Manning's single season touchdown record. He has shown the ability to make big plays, but there's also going to be more film on him after the first couple of weeks, being able to sustain that much success. Do I think the guy can throw for 40 touchdowns this year? Absolutely. Do I think that he has the ability to lead that team to the playoffs? Yes. They obviously, like I said earlier, need help on the defensive side of the ball. But 55 touchdowns is a lot. And that's saying that he's going to sustain what he's doing right now for 16 games.
Brandon,
I think it's also fantasy, so I agree. Certainly, I think it's like that stat when you see a baseball player hit 2 home runs in the first game of the season, like he's on pace for 300 and, he's on pace for 320 home runs this year. He's going to shatter Barry Bonds' home run record.
We call those the Petco Park statistics.
Yeah. So, you can get off to a good start, but like you said, defenses start to game plan. They know your style a little bit better, and so I definitely don't think it's going to be as easy for him to be slinging the ball all the way around the field, come week 16.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, like you said, 55 touchdowns is an astounding number.
Yeah.
I think it's almost unreachable. Brandon, the Rams will win the NFC. Basically what I'm saying is they're gonna represent the NFC going into the Super Bowl. They're gonna be one of the teams that goes the full distance. Mm-hmm. Reality, fantasy.
For me, I think that's reality. I think the Rams they were actually my Super Bowl pick before the season started. They have played up to my expectations up to this point. You have arguably the best running back in the NFL in Todd Gurley on that offense. Jared Goff's done a solid job as quarterback, and you look at those playmakers on their defense. They have great pass rushers and a really great secondary. I would be shocked if they don't at least go to the NFC Championship game.
Ryan, fantasy, reality?
It's a tough one, but I think it's a little premature. I think it's fantasy. The reason being, they have the easiest walk to be the number 1 seed because of their division. They have the San Francisco 49ers. You're also looking at the Seattle Seahawks, who've looked atrocious, and the Arizona Cardinals, who they just ripped apart this past week. So they definitely have the easiest route to be the number 1 seed. Some of the factors that come into that, they still don't have any real home field advantage in Los Angeles yet, and they still have to go through teams like the Vikings, the Green Bay Packers, and the New Orleans Saints.
And Eagles.
And the Eagles. If the Eagles end up being the team they were last year. Those are some amazing quarterbacks that know how to win games. If I'm putting money on the line in an NFC Championship game, Packers versus Rams, my money's going in Aaron Rodgers. I do think that they will end up being the number 1 seed, but I don't think they'll be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl this year.
I'm going to have to agree with you, Ryan, agree with Brandon. I think that they're going to be, earlier in the season, they were my Super Bowl winning pick. I think that they have the talent.
You did say that you agreed with both of us.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, wait. Did you say that you think they're going to do it?
I said no. I said it's fantasy.
And you said?
I said I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah. So I agreed
I don't agree with that.
No, I disagree with you, agree with Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you said you agreed with both of us.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
I meant disagree with Ryan.
I agree with Ryan and I agree with Brandon.
You got to cut this out.
Sorry. Disagree with Ryan, agree with Brandon. I think, they were my picks to win my pick to win the Super Bowl. I think they have the most talented team, offense and defensive side of the ball. Ryan, I know you think that they spent way too much money on certain personnel on their defense.
Spending doesn't buy you championships.
I disagree. I think that if a team's going to do it, it's going to be this team.
That's statistical.
I get it's statistical, but still.
I just mean the
opinion.
Like I said, the Rams will end up with the best record in the NFC this year, but I don't foresee that. I mean, their defense is spectacular, but we're talking about a coach that's in his second year going up against coaches that have already won Super Bowls. So I think obviously they'll end up with the best win record in that conference. But if I'm looking, one-on-one, head-to-head, I mean, Matt Ryan tore them apart last year. And Matt Ryan, it's a totally different team on the defensive side of the ball. But like I said, they don't have real home field advantage, and that's the biggest factor going into the playoffs.
Doug Peterson was a young head coach, and he actually won the Super Bowl with the Eagles last year. So
No.
I mean, we've seen.
No. I mean, literally, like he's been in the NFL for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, I know.
Like Peterson has been in the league for more than a decade.
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, just there's still that inexperience at the head coach position for both. And did he actually win Coach of the Year last year?
Sean McVay?
Sean McVay?
I believe he did.
Yeah. So, I mean, you look at a guy who comes in, he kind of lit the league on fire. The team's looking good this year. We've seen in the past where these guys come on the scene, they shine bright, and then they definitely.
I think they've put their money in.
That's what I mean.
All their eggs are in this basket.
I love when teams go all in. They're willing to go in on winning it.
I mean they have to win this year because they are not going to be able to afford the amount of players that they have this year that are on contract. Mm-hmm. And then they're back to piece by piece, not necessarily rebuilding, but trying to build up that defensive side of the ball. They got weapons. Like I said, I could see them being a 15-1, 14-2 type team. But my only issue again, just being going head to head, with an Aaron Rodgers, with a Drew Brees, with a healthy Carson Wentz. I don't think that the Rams can win that game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why this segment is called Reality or Fantasy,
yes,
so we'll see what happens in the future. Next up, Ryan Fitzpatrick has been putting it down for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Will he remain the starting QB for the season? Brandon, I'll start with you first. Reality or fantasy?
I think it's definitely fantasy.
Yeah?
I think he's off to a fantastic start, but Jameis Winston's their quarterback. He's who they're going to ride the second things turn south on him, and they're going to make that switch over to Jameis Winston. You don't take a guy with the number 1 overall pick without the intention to make him your starting quarterback. And
well, I mean, the Browns are history that's not always true.
Well, he's their starting quarterback, though.
I think,
and then they end up unloading him. But he will be their quarterback after. And we've seen him get off to hot starts, like you said. And the second things go south, they're going to pull the plug on him.
I think that it's a reality. I think that you could see. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but Jameis Winston was just handled another yellow envelope this week, being sued again for
from that Uber driver for that same sexual assault charge.
I just don't know if Tampa Bay is going to be willing, with all the issues that we have in the NFL with domestic violence, with sexual assault, if they're going to be willing to just look the other way and say, hey, this is our quarterback. So with his legal issues, I think it's more of a reality. If we were just talking about talent of a player, obviously Jameis Winston's the quarterback of that team. But we'll see how the organization handles it, and we'll see what truths come out from all of this. It doesn't look good on Jameis Winston's part. There's a lot going on there, and especially from the head of your franchise, the person that's supposed to be leading your team. You don't want to be in the middle of a potential playoff run or a playoff push, having a guy deal with legal issues. And you saw the same thing with Adrian Peterson, a couple of years ago. You've seen it with Ray Rice. A lot of teams, especially getting to the grit and grind of the season, they don't want to deal with the extra baggage. So I think it's more of a reality.
He's not a smart guy at all, to say the least.
No. But no, if we were talking based off talent, I would totally agree with Brandon. But since we're talking about Jameis Winston, I think that it's more of a reality because of that.
I'm going to agree with Ryan here. I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to remain the quarterback for the season. I think that NFC South division is riddled with good quarterbacks, and anything that they can do to give themselves some sort of life, they're going to.
He's got swag right now, like Brandon said.
And if he continues like this, I think they'll even give him a second chance. I think that the first bad game he has, I don't think they're going to out him. They're going to ride him a little bit, and unless he absolutely flips the script and starts playing atrociously,
4 or 5 interceptions in a game,
multiple games. I think
we've seen that out of him.
Definitely we have.
So
but we haven't seen a start like this from him either, and then he all of a sudden is trash either.
Yeah.
I've seen good starts like this, but not quite. This is the best he's ever done.
And of course, everyone finds their system that they work with, and it seems like this is the system for him. He's bounced around quite a lot. And
they got weapons, man. I mean, honestly, he's got a big enough arm to do it. It's not like we're having Brock Osweiler go throw passes out there. It's
God. Is he still in the league, by the way?
I sure hope not.
I don't know. Probably somebody's backup.
That
was the only Texans QB
so much
that
money
I just
right now.
didn't like.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty on a yacht somewhere. He's fine.
Oh yeah, they paid him way too much money. Anyways, The last little reality fantasy question I have here, Ryan, I'll start off with you, is that Khalil Mack will be the Defensive Player of the Year.
Ooh. Yeah, well, I mean, how the awards are dubbed out in the NFL is the NFC gets one and the AFC gets one. So I definitely think that he could be the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he has shown his value so much. I mean, I know we talked about it last week a bit, but he brings a presence to that Chicago defense that they've missed since Brian Urlacher, and he has more athleticism. You know, he lines up on the defensive end. He lines up, you know, as a linebacker. He's everywhere. You saw with another sack last week. If he keeps up the productivity, I don't see why not.
I agree 100%. Yeah, this is definitely, I think that's a reality that he will be the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. You just look at the numbers he's put up and the presence he puts out on the field. I think you can look beyond the numbers and you can still see his impact. I mean, I think I saw a stat that he has put up better numbers than the entire Raiders defense up to this point.
Yeah,
and so, I mean, I think the Raiders paid, or the Bears paid a lot to get him, but I think he's worth it.
Well, I mean, and especially after the contract they dubbed out.
Yeah.
So they gave up 2 first-round picks and they paid him.
And they paid him.
Yeah,
and
so,
they gave him like a third and a fifth.
Yeah,
or
something like that.
So you give up 4 picks for a guy, you must be enamored by him, and he's actually lived up to it.
Absolutely. And the other thing about it, too, is that, you know, a lot of times people forget that people vote for these awards. And you have to have a presence, too. It's not just the statistics. It's not always the guy with the most rushing yards. It's not always the guy with the most sacks. But you have to have a presence to you, and he has that. So remembering that people are voting for these awards, definitely think that he would be up there with, you know, if I can't name another player in the NFC right now
that makes that much of an impact on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I think this is a consensus pick for all of us. I definitely think that that's a reasonable thing that he can do.
Solid one to end on, guys.
And especially now that he's out of the or off the Raiders and out of the AFC, I think his chances of becoming the defensive player in that division go up a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I want to touch a little bit before we get out of NFL, just a little bit of fantasy. Sarah's sister, Tanya, shout out Tanya over there in New York. She direct messaged us on Instagram. By the way, Ryan is killing the game on Instagram.
Holla.
We have, it's been 1 week.
Followers.
We have like 80-something followers. We've had at least over 130 views on our page. So, you know, people are all about us. We're at Three Amigos in a Podcast on Instagram.
Yep.
That's our
Check
name.
us out.
So follow us. Ryan's been posting like crazy, doing all of our little segments and predictions, all that kind of stuff. But for fantasy, do you guys have a waiver wire pickup this week? Brandon, I know we kind of previewed yours on Instagram earlier today.
I mean, if you're looking for fantasy purposes, I know we have a bit more of a shallower league. Currently we run a small, intimate 8-man league, but he should be available in most 8 and potentially 10-man leagues. Matt Breida he just looks like he's going to be their starting guy for the 49ers. And he's got a very favorable matchup this week against the Kansas City Chiefs, whose defense has not looked good, not been able to contain the run. You looked at him last week. He ran off for over 100 yards and got a touchdown out of it. Broke off, I want to say, a 60-yard touchdown. So, yeah, he is my pickup of the week if you're looking in that 8 to 10-man league range. Just great matchup.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick.
I'm going to give a shout-out to my Chargers with Austin Eckler.
Great pick.
That guy has been putting up so many yards. I mean, it's insane. I know we talked a lot this year, with Hunter Henry going out, Antonio Gates coming back there last week preseason, so many question marks. They're utilizing both running backs at the same time.
Yeah. And
you see Austin Eckler, he gets the ball in space a lot more than Melvin Gordon does. Melvin Gordon's always obviously going to be the, 1-2 big, punch kind of guy down there close to the goal line, getting you the touchdowns. They're throwing the ball to him out of the backfield. They're letting him run, nice little wing-back sweeps.
Yeah.
He looks good. I mean, and
they're kind of using him like they did Darren Sproles back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just crazy because they're lining him and Melvin Gordon up on they're literally using him like a wing T position.
Yeah. I think that's a good pick. Tanya asked for a QB that she could pick up. I'm going to go with Blaine Gabbert. I know you guys have the stank face, but I think that, he's going to control that the Titans offense, and they have a lot of weapons out there. I know his first week he was a little shaky. He was out there, I think, 200 yards and a touchdown, which aren't, real padded great numbers, solid numbers. It's like 12, 15 points. I think he's good for that. He goes against the Vikings this week, which is a tougher defense, but sometimes
God.
people are, they turn a blind eye. I think that Blaine Gabbert's going to have a huge week.
Tanya, do not pick up Blaine Gabbert. If I can give you any advice, do not pick up Blaine Gabbert.
Watch, he's going to have a good week.
Okay,
Just watch.
Just to name a couple here for you. If Ryan Fitzpatrick's still available, definitely get.
Well, he's the easy one, but
Yes.
I feel like most people are going to go after him, especially in bigger leagues.
There's also players out there like Case Keenum, who's clutch, who can get you, 15 to 20 points a game maybe. Alex Smith has always shown the ability to put up about 15, 20 points a
I
game.
think Andy Dalton. He's earned some consideration.
Especially
after last week.
I think
pick
Blaine
up
Gabbert's
Blaine
going to have a
Gabbert.
big week.
If
We come back next week.
The Vikings have one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL. Please do not pick up Blaine Gabbert.
Watch it happen.
And I agree with Ryan on this. Do not pick up Blaine Gabbert.
This isn't the reality versus fantasy.
Who are their weapons?
Who are the Titans' weapons?
Yes, Delaney Walker's out.
That team's decimated. Dion
They
Lewis
lost their left tackle.
Why can't I think of his name right now?
Are you talking about Corey Davis?
Yeah.
Okay, the dude has barely played half a season. We don't know who he is.
It's just because you have Corey Davis on your fantasy roster.
That's why.
That's the only reason why you're.
That is why last week he got me 11 points.
Dude, I'm not saying Blaine Gabbert's going to go out there and
I'm not saying
put
he's
up
going
a
to shit the
goose egg.
bed, but I think he's going to do at least
I don't
average.
think that he will finish in the top 15 for points.
Oh God,
I'm going to counter. I'm going to say he's going to.
I think he's in. Yeah, he's probably bottom 15 out of quarterbacks, even including some.
All right, well, let's see what happens next week. This will be a short fantasy reality.
We really pissed Dean off with this one. Joe Flacco, I'd pick him up first.
Oh,
no way.
Baker Mayfield's out there now too. If you want,
I would.
Yeah. That was going to be my other, waiver wire pickup was going to be the Santana Callaway kid. Obviously, the Browns played earlier today, so he's kind of out for this week. But I think he's even next week a good pickup. Whatever, fuck you guys. Let's go over to baseball. I'm done with this.
I thought we were going to touch up on fantasy defenses.
Oh yeah, defense. Fine.
We really pissed him off with this one.
How about this? I'll start off with my fantasy defense. I'm going with the Cowboys.
Hey, I was
they go against the Lions. Oh, so now we agree.
I was going to say the Cowboys.
Brandon, you have a fantasy streaming defense?
Oh God, that's a great question. So in my league, I got Rams defense in both leagues, so I just roll them out each week.
You're solid.
But I mean,
you guys got me all hot and bothered.
Miami wouldn't be a bad start up against Oakland. Looks like it's going to be some rain there, so maybe get some fumbles, loose balls. That team has not been. They've shown the possibility. Actually, they've actually put up double-digit fantasy points the first 2 weeks of the season. So they got a possibility to be a worthy streamer this week.
All right. Now you guys ready to move on? Assholes. Still pissed. I want to move on.
It's because we're saying all this, and his girlfriend's sister's listening. He's like, I don't want to look like a fucking idiot in front of her.
I know, right? This is like basically family. You guys make me look like an asshole.
He's like, don't worry, I'm gonna edit this out later.
Well,
fuck you guys.
Cut out.
I will say this: Dean usually makes somewhat smart decisions, but then he makes some really stupid decisions in fantasy. And
I'm a gambler. I'm a risker,
and it usually bites him in the ass in the end. So
got to take risk.
And I did want to make one comment out today. Shout out to Enrique from over there at
the Because You Watch podcast and the All Bad podcast,
who dropped Denver's defense for the Cleveland Browns. Just wanted to
how many points that net him?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it did a few, but when was the last time you can remember? I'm not hating on him at all. Yeah. But when was the last time you could ever remember dropping the Broncos defense for the Browns?
Oh God, especially in recent.
I can't remember. Like not in the last decade.
Oh, you got that last second interception too. So you got 2 extra points there to end the game.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I can't remember a time where you would ever see a fantasy player dropped the Broncos defense for the Browns.
They've looked pretty good. Let's see how many points that net him.
9.
9
so
points.
They went above what they were supposed to. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's
anytime
a great
you can get
pickup.
close to double digit for your fantasy or your defense, I mean, you're pretty satisfied with that defense, especially if you're streaming them.
So shout out to Enrique, solid pickup. I just think it's hilarious, is all.
Yeah, definitely.
He's our satellite amigo. He's remote.
He's our the number one guest so far. Sorry, Chad. No, I'm kidding.
Well, he's been on one. Chad's been on one, right? Or has he been on 2 of these?
No, Enrique's been on one, but you've been on like every single one of his podcasts.
I've been on 2 of his 3 podcasts.
Okay, well, that's like a whopping 66.6%.
Yeah, right. I think you might have dropped another one. Still, you're like 50% or more. You're basically a part of that one.
He's basically
that was a joke on the podcast, by the way, too. That I was the guest, but I've been on like half of his podcast. So.
I know, you wouldn't be surprised if you were on there again this week.
I think I am. No, I'm just I think I'm recording another podcast right after this one. No.
You got to jump from this one to another one.
On to baseball.
Good time for baseball. I saw a little preview for Red Sox Yankees. That got me kind of juiced for baseball.
I know. I wanted to start off the baseball segment with sad news that
fuck the Dodgers?
No. Well, yes, fuck the Dodgers.
The Dodgers
also fuck the Red Sox because the Red Sox clinched the
okay, well that was a given.
AL
They won
East.
100 games like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but the Yankees had a chance for a sweep. They would have at least not allowed them to clinch on their home field. I mean, they're
I will say from
rivals, so
they still won the series. I mean, it was a good.
They still won the series, but still, just the fact that they have to clinch for the 3rd straight time on their home field, and they won 11-6.
You don't want guys
like
popping champagne in your locker rooms.
Yeah,
even if it's the visitor locker room, you don't want them popping the champagne.
Especially when it's one of the longest-standing rivalries in sports history.
It's brutal.
It's no fun. But yes, Ryan, fuck the Dodgers.
Stupid.
God, dude,
I don't understand.
They really they
team.
gave us hope that they weren't gonna make it, and then they decided, hey, you guys remember that we still know how to play baseball, and they're gonna turn it on against the Rockies.
Well, the Rockies just proved that they're young and not ready.
Yeah.
They can't hang. I mean, but to go out there and sweep 3 games to none, I mean, dude, that home run Yasiel Puig hit yesterday was just that
we were talking about
how stupid that series was.
Well, he's just kind of a sporadic hitter too. Like,
I mean, he's hit like 7 home runs in the last week.
Well, he hit like
hence the
5
sporadicness.
what was it? 5 in like 3 games?
2 games.
2 games?
Mm-hmm.
That's better than the Pat Mahomes Ryan Fitzpatrick thing that's going on.
I know,
That's crazy.
God, that would be how many home runs would you be on pace for if there's only those 2 games? God, he's on pace to hit 1,000 home runs this season.
That's doable.
No, dude, I mean it really ticks me off, and I know you know as a group, I guess we had the Dodgers going to the World Series, and if they stay this hot, they're probably gonna go.
Yeah, it was
stupid.
It was just the bad fashion that they did it in. Really gave me hope that they weren't going to make it.
So much of baseball is who's hot in October.
Exactly.
And that's kind of what's happening. You kind of, I don't know.
You're hoping they cool off here towards the end of the month, but shit, it's the 20th.
Yeah,
that team's pretty much a shoo-in for the West, even though they're only a couple games. But they just have such a favorite.
Braves.
Well, and then they play the Padres right now.
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying in the first round of the playoffs, they're going to play the Braves.
Yeah, a young team.
I mean, they're getting a cakewalk into the NLCS.
Yeah, and then they're probably going to play the Cubs more than likely. I think we're probably all
You hope so, because that's the only team that can knock them off. I mean,
Milwaukee's pretty good.
Milwaukee is good.
Yeah, they've been looking good. And
then
Christian Yelich hit
and
for
then I think you might
cool.
see the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals would probably be my second wild card pick. I think that's a veteran team that can string it together. I wouldn't put money on it, but you just never know with a team that has done so well in the past.
No, they're definitely up there. I mean, they've shown out since the All-Star break, and they've,
Poor Rockies, by the way. I think they still have not won a NL West.
Don't ever say poor Rockies on this podcast again.
That is true.
Anybody.
That is true because they screwed the Padres out of their last playoff.
I don't ever say poor Rockies, and they did it to themselves. I mean, you can't consider yourself a playoff team and then go out and get swept by your division rival, especially in this close of a pennant race.
But who do you not like more, the Rockies or the Dodgers?
The Dodgers.
Yeah,
Dodgers
so
and
that's why I
Giants,
would
then
rather the
Diamondbacks and
Rockies have
Rockies.
swept him.
Just verbiage. Use different words next time.
Just watch what you say, dude.
Just why would you say? You
There's
could hurt
children
people.
listening. Jesus.
Words hurt.
I mean, the Diamondbacks obviously took crap on the rest of the year. I mean, the Rockies are only 1.5 games back on the wild card. It's not like they can't get there. They've definitely shown the ability to do with the bats. Their pitching has been pretty good this year, but it all just went to hell when they played the Dodgers.
And I think they play the Brewers next too.
Yeah, they got a
so
pretty tough
that's a
schedule. The
tough-
Dodgers are playing,
And
They have
I've
a
already-
our Padres,
cakewalking-
but like I said, I think our last podcast, the Padres been playing pretty solid ball.
Basically,
You can upset.
in order for me to be happy with this upcoming series with the Padres and Dodgers, the Padres have to sweep them.
If you were 2 out of 3, you'd be satisfied, though.
No,
You really?
nope,
I
not
would.
not in this case. Not
Well,
with them up 2.5 games. I'm only happy if they sweep. I love my Padres, and I know that we're well out of the playoffs, and we have been for a while, and we're looking forward to 2020. And I only want
Hey.
to say positive things about them.
Franmil Reyes got a little shout out on MLB about he was the Padres' best rookie player this year. And I was looking at his numbers. He's batting .284. He's got 16 homers. He's got like a 850 OPS. I mean, he's got great numbers
Yeah, he's
from a
got-
guy who could have been picked up in the Rule 5 draft this last year.
I really hope that they can find a place for him to play. But
I totally
I
agree.
don't know where
agree.
you- I don't know where you
he's
stick him.
gonna fit in.
Well,
That's
that's
gonna have to be a
what size is
rotating
his
out.
jersey? I want to
But-
know.
He's a big
but
boy, dude.
what's good is his value is high. So even if they wanted to flip him for a third baseman, let's say you packaged him up with Will Myers and you get like,
Hopefully, Will Myers doesn't listen to our show because we don't really say a lot of nice things about him.
oh
I
god,
know.
I mean Will Myers, he's one of those guys who teases you and you think he's gonna be the superstar and he just keeps letting you down, and that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at with him.
Yeah, I just want to see the Padres sweep them so we don't lose 100 games because I think
We're on
there's
pace
about I don't know. There's 12 games left, I think, or something like
I
that.
think
or
the Padres
9
have played a
games,
lot
something.
more games than other teams, and
Yeah,
so
they don't have as many delays.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. But yeah, if they can sweep the Dodgers, at least limit that margin that the
Yeah.
Rockies have, so that they can at least make it. Yeah.
It looks like it's all but over.
Speaking of the Padres, sad news: their scouting VP Don Welke died today at 75.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's
mm.
sad.
Yeah, it's sad. It's never fun to see. Obviously,
75 years old too, man.
well,
Yeah,
of course it's
it's
not
still
fun,
pretty young.
but
yeah,
it's not fun anytime somebody passes away. But
yeah, and definitely when it's somebody that's close to your heart and
Yeah, and he worked
in
for the Padres for a long
organization.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But rest in peace to him, and hopefully his family's doing okay. And
you'll be missed.
yeah, definitely be missed. Earlier this week, also speaking of that Red Sox and Yankees series,
Jesus criminy.
come on, I want some good stuff to come out
He's
of
just-
that. Aaron
he's
Judge
just a
got
big
reactivated.
There's some
He
there's
likes
some
the
motives.
Patriots. He likes the Yankees.
There's some motives in
He's
this,
a Laker
this
fan.
podcast.
He's all over the place.
It's all scripted towards Lakers.
Well, I write the show
It's
notes,
all-
so I make sure the
You
right
noticed there
things
wasn't any
go in.
Clippers news on here.
I
today.
noticed, and we're like big. We're probably the biggest NBA news. No shout out for the Clippers, but
Jimmy Butler's
it's
not
okay.
going to go there, so we're going to move on from him.
Oh, but the
So
Clippers.
yeah, Aaron Judge was activated. Next.
And the rookie Juice Sheffield.
Justice Sheffield. Yeah.
He had his first outing, his MLB debut.
How did he look?
It was a rocky start. He came in the ninth. He got one out, then loaded the bases, and then got
should have traded him for Machado.
no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
But he worked himself into a bad situation. Sanchez went out there, talked to him. They kind of calmed him down a little bit, and then he got out of it and closed out the game. So
Well,
he
the
looked
ninth
good.
inning's tough, especially.
He's a young guy too.
Yeah.
Man. He's
Yeah.
got so much upside. It's hard to be a young pitcher in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, you're a young pitcher. It's your MLB debut. You come out against the rival,
Yeah, dude.
and you have to pitch out of the inning. I mean, so shout out to him. He looked good, and going into the playoffs, I think they might utilize him a little bit. Obviously, a little bit more too, because Aroldis Chapman is battling that injury. So we'll see how it goes. That's all I had for baseball.
Christian Yelich, 2 cycles too. You had that in the notes.
Yeah,
We
I peppered
briefly
that
mentioned
in.
That. Yeah, 2 cycles in a year. That dude.
If you
man.
listen to what I say, you'd hear it.
Well,
No, okay.
I was too
But yeah.
distracted by Yankee talk.
Yeah, and Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, and a Blaine Gabbert suggestion.
you guys want to stop this now?
Get out.
Get out. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. 2 cycles against the same team. I mean, the Padres just begged for one for years before.
And then we got 2 with against the same team but different players. But not in the same season either.
Yeah, dude. I mean, Yelich, he's having an MVP-like year. I still, give it to Baez.
And I mean, he's good luck because Baker Mayfield showed up tonight with the Yelich jersey on, and the Browns get their win. So, it sounds like that kid's just a winner.
Yeah. He's a big Yelich fan over here now, too. Is he going to be in our podcast notes?
He's on
unless he gets traded to the Yankees.
Yelich is my fantasy baseball.
No, Yelich is a stud, though. I agree. I actually wanted the Padres to be aggressive in going after him.
Yeah, can we just say how stupid the Marlins still look by all of their trades? Looking back at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you can't just give up one.
Ozuna's on a team that's making a playoff push.
They picked up Lewis Brinson, who hasn't done much for them, and you pretty much trade one top prospect for another proven commodity.
But
it
they
just didn't
did
make
get
sense.
Starling Castro. I mean, that was a huge win.
Oh, yeah. God.
Oh, man. Well, Brandon, I'll give you some love with the NBA news. You want to talk about this Jimmy Butler thing?
Of course.
Why would
I not?
The Clippers were on his short list of teams that he want to go to. I think also it was the
apparently
preferred destination.
It sounds like the list is the Clippers. I mean, he had a couple other teams in mind.
It was like the Clippers, the Nets, and
so honestly,
the Knicks or something.
I know you guys won't like when I'm saying this, but he wanted to go to L.A. or New York, but the reason why he didn't want to go to Lakers because he didn't want to play alongside LeBron, and so that's a fact. That's what's been stated.
Lakers aren't going to trade for him anyways.
So that's besides the point. So, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, his preferred destination is the Clippers because there's been reports that him and Kyrie Irving want to team up.
Yeah.
And they've been linked to the New York Knicks, I think has been one of them, and as well as the Nets, the Clippers. Those 3 teams have 2 max slots available next offseason.
Yeah, one of these teams is going to hit a huge lottery ticket next offseason.
Not only is it huge that Jimmy Butler is interested, suddenly now the Clippers are the most favored team to land Kawhi Leonard next year. So it's a double whammy for the Clippers.
I just feel bad for the Timberwolves. I mean, they gave up so much.
They did, and it is tough. I'm like following some of my Clippers who we just drafted, and I'm seeing like emojis of like sad faces because I think some of these guys are already being packaged up for a trade offer.
Yeah,
and
I just wouldn't trade for him.
That's just tough. I know, and I know for those last year I watched a solid amount of Timberwolves games and Jimmy Butler did not really get along with Karl Anthony Towns. During clutch time, they were not playing well together.
Karl Anthony Towns kind of seems like a big baby.
Well, I mean, from what I've heard, he kind of has a reason to, but apparently Jimmy Butler's been hooking up with his girlfriend. Ooh, and that would create tension. I don't know if those are just reports
newly reported on TMZ.
But
Brandon with the breaking news.
But anytime you have a rift like that between players, also Karl Anthony Towns does not play really a lick of defense, and Jimmy Butler is a hardworking defensive guy, and he plays on a team that's ranked dead. When he was not in the lineup, they were ranked dead last as far as defensive efficiency.
Well, obviously
rating.
Butler's defense isn't that good if he can't keep Karl Anthony Towns off his girl.
No, it's the other way.
Other way around.
It's the other way around.
It was still good, but
it was good, but it was the other way around. So the joke is actually that Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have defense on or off the court. That's the joke. But it's pretty exciting times for Clippers. I mean, preferred destination for, I think he's a top 20, 25 player in the league. Jimmy Butler, he's a 2-way star. And for him to be linked with some of these other guys too as a preferred destination, they will have to probably give up quite a few guys. But also, like we were talking about before, anytime a guy demands a trade, especially 4 days before the season before training camp's about to start, you kind of kill the leverage on that team. So,
And other more important news in the NBA. Just released this past week.
Space Jam
2 with LeBron James
Yeah, he's probably gonna put the banana boat crew in there.
I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, he's
got to.
I don't know.
Those are his homies. If they're not gonna team up, they at least got to team up for a movie.
We'll see.
We'll see. I definitely would be exciting though.
I mean, it makes sense. They're all at the end of their career. Yeah. I mean, obviously, you know,
Muggsy's gonna be, Chris Paul because he's short. No.
Oh man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I could see Shaq making an appearance in that.
God,
I definitely could. That'd be exciting.
I mean, honestly, who's not super excited for that though?
Oh God.
Yeah,
well, that's been heavily anticipated.
They've done a lot of movie reboots, and I think that's one that I'm really looking forward to.
I think my boy Blake's gonna get in there because I know he's a Jordan guy. Oh, Jordan listed him. He was the guy who wanted him to do Space Jam 2.
And he didn't get
because Michael Jordan doesn't want LeBron touching any of his legacies.
Well, he's also he's a Jordan player. He's on Jordan.
Yeah.
So, but obviously he wants to protect his brand first. But I think Nike owns Jordan anyways. But
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that is exciting. LeBron, honestly, I know he's out there. And he got signed to the Lakers, but it kind of seems like he went out there to do more of his producing in movie roles.
I don't know about necessarily movie roles, but I think he just went out there to expand his brand.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, LA is...
that HBO show that he has, too, is good.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly...
He's got an HBO show?
We could have predicted this, a year ago based off the fact that LeBron knows that he's aging, and he's a businessman. You saw the school that he opened up back at home in Ohio. He's got obvious movie roles that he's been involved with. He has his new TV show on HBO. There's just more money to be made in Los Angeles than there is in Ohio, and I mean, he's one of the most successful athletes off of the field in the history of any sport.
Not one of, he probably is the most.
I mean, I know some of those soccer players like Ronaldo and Messi have like stupid money.
American sports,
but American sports definitely.
I mean, Magic Johnson's done his,
but he's like he's also like way further along his life.
Well, and I mean,
are we talking like active players?
Yeah,
though, right?
he's like.
I mean, at the time that Magic was
old?
active, I mean, he was still doing things that were benefiting him off the court as well as on the court.
I mean, he's like 36 years old, and he's 35 years old, and he's still young. And I mean, the amount of money that he invested into a soccer team. He's invested into restaurant chains.
Blaze Pizza. Have you ever had Blaze Pizza?
I love Blaze Pizza.
No, is it good?
It's really good.
Yeah, it is really
I love
good.
that place.
It's better than Pyology for sure.
Is it the same concept?
Yeah,
they're all the same concept, but I think don't know. To me, it tastes
way better.
Like head over heels better.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It tastes like a winner.
Yeah,
it's like comparing Jersey Mike's and Subway. It's not. It's just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You clearly go Subway. No, I'm just kidding. You go Jersey Mike's. I was joking. Just give me my stat of the day. You just want.
Oh, that's right. The stat of the day.
Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Dabba-dooba-doo. Stat of the day. Stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day. Bop.
All right. This is a pretty crazy stat, and I think it's staggering to say the least. So, NFL teams scoring 37 plus points at home with 0 turnovers in history is 386-0 until last week when the Steelers lost at home.
Oh.
386-0.
386-1 now.
Yeah, it's
wow. That's incredible.
So that's the first time in history.
What was the score?
And that's
in what?
37 quarter? More than 37 plus points at home with no turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over.
And that's the team that Brandon thinks win in the division.
Wow.
Hey, they're still going to win that division. I'm telling you.
Looks like
they're
the
gonna
Browns
get
are
together.
swapping out with the Steelers.
So yeah, that's an insane stat.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Putting up
And
37
short
points.
Lock.
Yeah.
Big Ben threw for over 450 yards last week, and they still didn't win it. I know a lot of that was in garbage time too, but
that game was
still
close. I mean, like the Chiefs were up 21-0 in the first quarter, and then it was tied 21-0 or 21-21 going into halftime.
You go down 21-0 though. It's
But they came back and tied the game at halftime. It was 21-21. It was a brand new ball game.
Was it?
Yeah.
Still,
I mean, it was literally it started over fresh at halftime, and like it was not. It wasn't a blowout by any means.
But yeah, that's an
game.
insane stat though. 386 or 386-0, and now it's 386-1.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Man, I can't say that I feel bad for the Steelers though.
No, definitely. I skipped over NHL just because I know you guys don't care about it. But
hey, let's
season starts
just give
in
it a little
13
bit.
days, October 3rd. The podcast is going to get real busy real quick because we have NFL continuing, playoff baseball, hockey starts, and basketball starts. So
you're gonna have all the 4 major sports getting together all in 1 month.
You're going to get informed on this podcast.
Yeah,
for every
two starting up, 1 wrapping up, 1 in the middle of the season.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time.
So what's your guys' favorite time of the sports year?
This time.
Yeah,
I think I mean like for an individual sport, do you think that playoff baseball, playoff basketball, football,
Beginning of the football season.
Beginning of the football season?
No, for me it's wrapping up, like that last push for the playoffs. That's my favorite
For any sport?
Let's say like for baseball, if the Padres are contending right now, this would be my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
But when was the last time the Padres were
That's-
contending? I'm just curious.
Let's not do
The only
that.
reason I say that the beginning of the football season is because I'm really excited. There's new hope. There's
But getting excited for the playoffs, you're like, you got to watch
but
every
we don't
single game.
get that a lot here.
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, if your team's contending, that's what I'm most excited for.
But he asked us what our favorite time of the year
So
was.
mine used to be the start of the football season because we had the Chargers and it was hope for a new season. It was hope for win.
Here we go.
But now, I don't really care about football anymore because my
Then why are we here? Why are we here, Dean?
Because I want to hang out with you guys.
Okay.
Spend time with you, okay? But now my new favorite time of the year is the start of playoff baseball. I think that there's just so much. It's literally like
March Madness is pretty awesome too.
Dean, let's just be honest though. If the Yankees were not going to the playoffs,
yeah, probably not.
okay, just making sure.
But
So you can't say it's your favorite.
well, it's my favorite right now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like how I feel. I'm like, all right, the Clippers about to tune up for the playoffs. I want to
So I'm
fucking
saying
watch
you like
every game.
you're not like obviously like my feeling. If the Chargers make the playoffs, is going to feel a lot different. Than the beginning of the year. You're asking what our favorite is. It has to be an overall favorite.
Well, I have a new favorite because my old favorite's ruined.
It's the same favorite that he gets every time Tom Brady steps on the
I will
field.
say that first round is always the best for the playoffs, in my opinion, because you have all the different teams you can watch all at
It's
once.
like a sprint. It's like baseball season's a marathon, and
Yeah.
everything keeps going. Then all of a sudden, playoff hits, and it's a sprint to the finish.
I don't know, man.
you have a game every day too.
Playoffs, baseball's hard. It lasts too long.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I enjoy it.
I do
enjoy
not,
it.
and it's the same thing with basketball. I don't like. That's why I love March Madness. That's why I love football. I like one and done. I hate watching a 7-game series.
I like this
I
series.
like the 7-game series.
it
I
drags.
like and I like the little chess piece moves that they have to make and who's facing who.
You get to savor it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna last a couple
not my
days.
favorite.
Every game matters too. It's not like you lose a game. Yeah, you're
It's
gonna.
hard.
It's gonna be really hard to make
The one
up.
thing I do like about it better is like with the NFL, you have people like talking about the game all freaking week, and it's like just shut up, wait till they play the game.
Yeah.
And then with baseball and basketball, there's really no time to talk about it because they're playing every other day.
Yeah, you just kind of gotta
Yeah,
get on it as. it's
So there's
happening.
more sport involved in that. So
I-
I
I'm-
love all sports though. Like it's hard to pick a favorite time. Like I love all of them. I could watch golf. Like
Yeah, that's true. I can enjoy basically any time of sport,
yeah,
but
there's a
think
little
playoff
dead
baseball-
period.
Like the dog days of baseball is pretty tough. I mean,
yeah, like when
that-
football's
yeah.
over and
like you're looking at like right after the All-Star break, between that and like August, you're like, all right.
There's
I mean,
nothing.
I'm gonna look at the box score for the most part, but
yeah.
I don't get really excited and rejuvenated. Feel that.
basically like February. The week after or the second week of February until March, it's just dead. It's basketball, and it's not even like basketball plays their championship in
Yeah, April.
So like
Well,
from
I'd say actually more like May.
yeah,
but
so from like February to like April, it's just dead. Like
Yeah.
the Warriors are 20 games ahead of whoever's behind them, and
Yeah,
That's
the
it.
finals wrapped up actually on my birthday, June 8th last year.
Well, I guess
And they
too. Like my
swept.
only issue with basketball now is it's just been the same two teams back and forth forever, so it's hard to be excited about
that
it.
sucks. But yeah, I mean, if you have a horse in the race, it's always different. But
Yeah, that's true.
I don't have those.
Yeah, I don't really.
well, that's kind of how I feel about football. Like I don't have a horse in the race, so.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. I'll get into the plug. Follow us on
plug.
Twitter at the number 3 amigos _ and a pod. We're hosted on Podbean, so you can listen to us there. iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, Podcast Addict. You can literally listen to our podcast anywhere. We have a website, 3amigos and a podcast.wordpress.com. Ryan is just absolutely killing the game on our Instagram page. We're 3 amigos and a podcast, same handle as our Twitter account at 3amigos _ and a pod if you want to tag us in anything. Email us always, of course, 3amigos and a podcast at gmail.com. We're going to be doing a lot of coverage, like we said, because we have so many sports coming out. So it's going to get busy. We're going to be packed with tons of information. So keep it tuned. Keep listening to us. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Later.